Alright, well, 12 times the charm or something, right? That's how the old saying goes. I did a little bit more digging into my latency issues and found out that probably the root issue was every time my stream like cut out or like tried to reconnect, which happens a lot on kind of spotty Wi-Fi, is the delay would increase basically whenever the stream came back online, probably whether to like, I don't know, let people catch up or something. That's the default settings, and you don't want that. So I put on a manual delay and like set it to 0 seconds and turned off like increased delay whenever the stream like tries to reconnect and fun stuff like that. So maybe it'll finally work out. Test my internet speed. Seems like I'm pretty good today, so that's kind of necessary for when you have to solve a mystery. I know I'm streaming a few hours earlier than I normally do, but I have some stuff to take care of today during that time, and I kind of want to get on this like right away. So like before I forget like a lot of the important details. So yeah, I mean, lots happened in this past chapter, up to and including Nerine Komikato's suspension from the school because she took the fall for whatever reason. For the latest mystery unfolding as far as Ringo's foot injury or what have you. So yeah, I guess we'll just get into it. I'm definitely feeling the stakes have been raised pretty considerably up until these, from the previous mysteries. Before it was just like, this school event was canceled, and as such our relationship is stagnating and fun stuff like that. But this time it's, Nerine arguably coming back to the school or not at stake, and also their relationship is really rocky right now, her and Yuzu, so yeah, let's hope I don't get this one wrong. And with that fun introduction, let's get started.
ならまずは何をすべきか。これもノーだ。ネリーが犯人でないと証明し、真犯人を隠し通す。名探偵に真実の尻をあぶるのを手伝ってもらうことにしよう。すまないね。生徒会選挙もあるのに手を煩わせて。
構いません。頼まれたとはいえ、私が八代先輩のお尻を叩いたのですもの。最後までお付き合いします。
悪い噂のある上級生とつるんでいると選挙に影響が出るかもしれないよ。
この件が片付いたら、以前と変わりない学院生活に戻ります。だから何の問題もありません。
大した自信だな。
それに頼ってもらえたのが私で嬉しいんです。
え？
最近エリカさんと仲良しだったので、事件解決を私でなくエリカさんに頼むと思っていて、だから嬉しいんです。
That is true.
やはり頼りになるのは我が師だからね。
一緒に頑張りましょう。そうだったのですか。自ら犯人だと名乗りを上げた。
ああ、ネリーには以前鐘楼のルーガルー事件の捜査の進捗を話して聞かせたことがあったんだ。だから
二階屋の会の皆さんを納得させられるほど細かく事件について語れた。まるで犯人にしかわからないことのように。
そうだ。スオくん、
大丈夫です。簡単な話ですよ。
何を？
つまりコミカド先輩のアリバイを崩せばいいってことですよね。リンゴさんが襲われたとされる11時半にコミカド先輩がどこにいたのかを突き止めましょう。
不在の証明。
unlike last time where Suo had an ulterior motive for like misguiding Yuzu on her mystery during the mystery in chapter 2, I believe. Yeah, the one about the shapeshifter of the dorms. Can't really see her motivation to do so, like to not help this time around, you know? I mean, I don't see how like her helping or not would affect her like student council running. And I mean, we just had that scene right before this where she was like, oh, you know, you're a lot like me, and you are now faced with a similar predicament, so why wouldn't you help her? I think we can pretty safely get that assumption out of the way. Also, for austerity's sake, I did go over the circumstances of Ringo's injury. Again, I went back to that point in chapter 5 where, you know, Yuzu encounters, or, you know, Ringo sitting around and she got her foot injured. And yeah, like, she says she went out after it rained, right? So it must have been muddy at the time, but there were no footprints. So like, she should have left footprints if she was at the church, like she said she was, right? Because it was already muddy and she would have walked in the mud. But you know, Yuzu already covers that. She's like, oh, you know, whoever attacked her erased her footprints. But you know, the more likely explanation, or another possible explanation at least, is, you know, she was never there at the chapel in the first place, and she staged the injury somehow. So you would go on to think, like, okay, was she out at all? And like, yeah, her shoes were caked in mud, both of her shoes. And as David, one of my viewers, brought up in the stream yesterday, that wouldn't really make sense if she was only dragging one foot through the mud. You know, why would they both be caked? It wouldn't just one have the bottom be caked in mud and the other one like have mud all over it or something like that? So again, it's kind of weird, but although the confusion about like, oh, how did Ichigo know? Weren't their dates supposed to be secret? Ichigo's like, I happened to be in the lobby at the time, but what the heck were you doing in the lobby at 11:30 p.m., you know? So that's weird. Hey, how's it going? I'm trying to reason through this mess myself, because, you know, I'm streaming at a different time, so I don't know if I'm gonna have the usual people in chat to help me out here. But yeah, I went over the circumstances of the injury and like the whole mystery that like preceded this whole thing, and like, yeah, their story doesn't add up. Oh, and it's something that Nerine was fixated on, like, oh, they didn't leave footprints, so there's something else going on there. Like, I don't think their story is the correct version. Also, I've been thinking about this so much ever since we logged off the other day that, like, I ended up having a pretty messed up dream about this game. Because I guess, like, I've been thinking about it so much that it ended up happening. And it was especially weird because I never dream, like, vividly. So it was really bizarre. If you want to hear it, it's kind of disturbing, and hopefully it doesn't actually happen in game, but yeah. I'll give you the lowdown if you want to hear it real quick. So, this whole drama started to get out of control when Yuzu goes out for a date one night with Ringo. They're supposed to meet up, and like, Ringo doesn't show up, so she goes back to the dorm and she's worried. So she shows up at Ringo and her twin Ichigo's dorm room, and she finds out that Ringo injured her foot. So Ichigo claims that she was attacked by someone, which is kind of ridiculous, but that's the kind of assumption we've been operating under. I'll get to the dream in a little bit. It's pretty bad. But just as a rundown, yeah, Ichigo is like, she was attacked, so Yuzu gets it in her head, like, oh, I have to find the assailant, basically. In the process, she kind of tentatively makes up with Nerine, who obviously rejected her in the chapel at the end of chapter 4, and they have legit not talked since then. But they kind of like tentatively make up without really talking about it, and they like toss around like potential ideas for the mystery at each other. But it ends up backfiring because when it's time to present like this idea to the student council, of like this idea of what happened, Nerine ends up taking the fall for it, and she's like, I did it, like I attacked her, it's my fault, just like, you know, I guess this is kind of like self-sacrificial way of taking care of it and putting the issue to rest. As for why she did that, there are a number of reasons as to why she could have done that. My personal theory is that she sees it as like, oh man, I came up with another good reason last night, but my main reason was she like sees it as her punishment for like being a terrible friend to Yuzu like all these years, you know, manipulating her, like making her like get baptized as a Christian, like as a proof that like as like a proof of the strength of their friendship, basically, even though she knew that like Yuzu didn't really believe, among other things. That's just my theory. But yeah, so that's where we're at right now. And like since Nerine took the fall and like basically confessed to assaulting another student, she got suspended. And now Yuzu is like, okay, now I have to clear Narine's name, which is some pretty high stakes, honestly. Anyway, yeah, as far as the dream I had last night, not really related to, yeah, it's a lot, isn't it? Yuzu and Nerine both imply to have known like what actually happened, and they're doing it to protect someone. So I assume they know like that it wasn't like another student that attacked them, but like that they're faking the injury. They staged the injury themselves to win over everyone else's sympathy. But anyway, yeah, the dream I had last night was like it ends up that one of these 7 mysteries of the school ends up being real and like a dangerous threat. And like it ends up being like an actual threat to students. It starts like attacking them or whatever, and at the end of the game you have to piece together the mystery of like who this like this mysterious assailant is going to target next, and the game makes you legit try to kill off one of the main characters. It was really messed up, like, yeah, and for some reason, like, you know, dream logic was like these events that's going on in the game, these mysteries that like are actually trying to target students, it's like a murder mystery, coincides with the end of the world. So like the end of the world was happening as like I was trying to solve the mystery in game. Yeah, fun stuff. And like it took a straight horror turn at the end, and you legit could not choose to save like everyone. You had to kill off one of the characters, basically. You had to choose like which character like was the true ending, who actually died. So yeah, that was fun. I hope the game doesn't actually take that turn and no one dies, you know? I know visual novels like to do crazy stuff like that, but anyway, that was a very long tangent. Let's keep going. In the thing that I laid out, or in this mystery that we're actually dealing with, because I mean, it's a lot.
コミカド先輩のファミティエの方に話を聞くとしましょう。
Oh yeah. It's classic murder mystery stuff, honestly. That's beyond the scope of this game, but which is why I was so like, man, that's really messed up, you know? Really gonna make me kill off one of the main characters like that?
お待たせしました。これは？お昼取っていないと思って、 食ですけど、どうぞ。
さすが和菓子は気が利くね。手軽に食べられるなら BLT。
Oh, for sure. What are you getting for lunch? I actually didn't eat lunch, but gotta stay on that grind, I guess.
ブリトーです。手が汚れず本を読みながら食べられるんでいいですよね。私大好きなんです。
食事の前に情報を。
早く食べないと冷めてしまいますよ。
そうだね。
Sounds pretty good. And I now regret not eating lunch. Same. I was saying like I didn't eat lunch, and now I'm regretting that decision. What's your lunch then? Just to exclude me from the eating food gang even further.
ブリトーはあまり食べ慣れていないが、こいつはいけるね。
トルティーヤのもちもちした食感がいいですよね。私はクリスピーを挟んだものが好きなんですけど、なかったのでソーセージにしてもらいました。
いや、実にうまい。サンドイッチからこっちにくら替えも考えてしまうよ。
Wow, literally the best kind of salad, huh? Must be nice. Same. Just yet another example of quality food ASMR in this series. There's plenty of that to go around.
オニオンスープも入っていますよ。
最高だ。
Well, this is a nice break from the really, like, it's been a pretty insane whirlwind over these past like 4 hours of gameplay. Not to mention this chapter is a monster. Just like it's as far as like how long it is, so yeah.
あまり空腹は感じていなかったが、随分と腹が減っていたらしい。
ちゃんと食事は取らないとダメですよ。
This game is too real, huh? But Yuzu was legit not eating properly because she's depressed. So, also a big mood.
スオー君は昼食をとったのかい？
コミカド先輩のアミティエ、萩原さんとはお食事をしながらお話を聞いたのです。
人間、うまい食事をとると口が軽くなるというものな。
残念ながら鐘楼のルーガルーに襲われた時のアリバイを証明することはできませんでした。
Of course, it's not that simple.
つまり11時半の時点でネリーは部屋で就寝してはいなかった。
はい、11時になる少し前に部屋を出たそうです。眠れないから 少し出てくると。
当然商用ですぐ戻ったという話ではないんだね。
はい、萩原さんは目が覚めてしまって本を読んでいたそうなのですけど、11時半を過ぎても戻ってこなく、12時になる少し前にようやく戻ってきたと。
リンゴが襲われた時間に部屋にいてくれれば単純な話だったのにな。
Yeah, the mystery deepens, right? And it's never that simple.
でもそんな夜遅くコミカド先輩はどこに行っていたのですかね。
ネリーに尋ねるわけにもいかないしな。アリバイを崩すつもりが犯人かもしれないという裏打ちをしてしまった。
すみません。
Even more incriminating.
いや、何も数億を責めているわけじゃない。僕の耳になってくれているんだ。感謝しているよ。11時少し前に部屋を出たというなら目撃者を見つけたいところだが、
襲った時刻のちょうどでなくとも少し前もしくは後にコミカド先輩を寄宿舎で見かけたという情報があればアリバイを崩せますね。
ああ、僕は寮長やスタッフに話を聞いてみる。スオ君は夜更かしをしそうな生徒から聞き込みを頼むよ。すまない、待たせてしまったようだね。
いえ、私も今来たところですから。
学院教諭、スタッフに話を聞いてみたが空振りだった。見回りをしている片上寮長には期待していたが、こちらも見かけていないそうだ。
Yeah, that's a good observation. Tsuo is legit like Sherlock levels of I've said this a lot before, but her deductive reasoning ability is second to none. She's the main character of the first game, and the mysteries in that game are really hard. So yeah, she has a very well-earned reputation.
そうですか。私もリッカさんやイチゴさんのつてで上級生の方たちにも話を聞きましたが、やはんコミカド先輩を見かけた人はいないそうです。
うまくいかないものだな。犯人でない証拠を見つけるのがこんなに大変だとは思わなかった。
コミカド先輩の名誉を取り戻すため真犯人の名を挙げることはできないのですよね。
She knows too, huh?
そいつは無理な注文だ。それができるのなら初めからやっている。
ですよね。動機で崩すことはできない。使った凶器などもない。確か聖堂前の通路の土には足跡がなかったのですよね。
ああ、
不在の証明をコミカド先輩が日記をつけてくれているなら話は早いのですけど。
She does, doesn't she? Doesn't the vice president have to keep a logbook?
それだ。どうして今の今まで気づかなかったのだろう。ネリーは子供の頃からずっと日記をつけているんだ。
Guess it was a little bit more straightforward than that.
それじゃあ日記を。
無理やりに奪うというのはなしだ。イズニクでみんなの前でネリーが犯人でないと知らしめるためには有無を言わさぬ証拠と迅速さが必要だ。
This is complicated because like you know this case would be worked out pretty easily if they had someone to pin it on, right? And Nerine, having already taken the fall, is kind of like, you know, gotten that out of the way, but it's like, yeah, it's basically what Yuzu said, like, she has to clear Narine's name, whereas she can't expose who actually did it. So it's like, when people want someone to blame it on, how do you do that? You know, her previous approach didn't work, where she was like, oh, it was an accident. There was no real culprit. And that kind of backfired on, that's why we're in this situation, so. See, I don't, from like a gameplay perspective, or from what I have to do, I'm just like, well, do I have to like how much layers do I have to like sift through in order to figure this out? Do I have to lie when it comes time to solve the mystery? Do I have to lie, or do I have to pick like what people want to hear? Do I have to pick, anyway, whatever. It doesn't really, I'll figure it out when we get there. I'm not really sure like how we're going to be presented with it.
電撃戦のように反証させるいとまを与えてはいけない。
部屋に忍び込むにしてもネリーは自室で謹慎中。顔を合わせずに部屋に忍び込むことはできない。
It's awkward. You're gonna have to break in.
食事中はどうでしょうか。朝とお昼はコミカド先輩へ同室の萩原さんが自室へ食事を持って行っているようでしたけど、夕食はダイニングルームで共にお祈りをしてからとっています。
Man. That's pretty accurate, honestly. Like, I've been thinking about this, and I've been making comparisons to Love Live characters a lot, in like when talking about these characters, but so you're not gonna like this, but I think Narine's closest comparison to the Love Live franchise is actually Rico, but you know, like, whereas like you kind of, it's hard to like Rico because like the things that she's capable of doing or like could potentially do in terms of like, you know, manipulation, like home wrecking, all that fun stuff. That's stuff that Nerine actually does. So yeah, I imagine she would not be your favorite. Not to mention that she also like plays up this like nice girl image that she is very aware of. This is kind of, what's the word? I would say that this is very all spoilerific, but we literally talked about this like in the last chapter, so this is part of the game. Yeah, it's legit. Like, you know, if you don't like Rico by principle, Nerine actually does a lot of this stuff that would that we think Rico is capable of doing. So it's a lot. She is definitely not one of my favorite characters, but Also, it's kind of unfair to her because, like, everyone else in this series is so great, with a handful of exceptions, but yeah. Nerine is a real piece of work, and it's like promoted in this game that her and Yuzu are the main ship, but their relationship is kind of, I mean, you've seen a good amount of it, I'm sure, so it's a lot. I think if they are going to end up together, which is honestly up in the air as of right now, it's going to take a lot of work to get there, for lack of a better word.
確かに話通りなら夕食時に部屋は無人になる。だがダイニングルームに向かう際、部屋を出るときに鍵をかけるだろうしね。
Well, thankfully for us, we have an expert lockpicker at this school. Just very, very conveniently.
鍵がかかっていてもどうにかなる算段がつけられるかもしれません。
算段？もしかしてスオ君が女スパイみたいに鍵を開けられるとでも言うのかい？
なんとかできる人に心当たりがあります。
Yeah, I will never get over the irony of, like, Yuzu in this game saying, "Who would learn how to pick locks at a school for upstanding young girls?" And then in the previous game, Erica was saying, "Good thing I took up lockpicking as a hobby." You know, that just it's so funny. Now she gets to witness it firsthand. Hey, this time it was set up, you know, that not set up, but like there is a when the lockpicking bit comes in, it's like, okay, well, this has been established before, like it's a thing.
こういう面白い話は早く相談してもらいたかったですね。
Never gets old.
鍵開けができるというのは本当だったのだな。
インドア派女のネクラな趣味の一つですよ。一時ハマっていましてね。おい千鳥、ちゃんと他の生徒が来ないか見張っていろよ。分かっているわ。
Yeah, the last exchange they had was a bunch of name calling, so yeah, you can imagine.
こういう時に頼みを無下にできる私をお前は好きか？ずるいわ。お前までついてこなくてよかったんだぞ。スオさんがやるって言うのだもの。アミティへの私が協力しないわけないでしょ。
Yeah, I wonder if that's a good idea. Miss Upstanding class president herself, and a well-known stickler for the rules. Yeah, the gang's all here, honestly, Lilith. You're getting a real treat. It's very rare that like well, not all the main characters, but most of them are all bunched together in one scene like this. It's not something we've gotten in a while.
ま、以前やっちろ先輩の部屋に無断で侵入した仲間だもんな。そのことは。
初耳なんだが。
八代先輩が頭を怪我されて真由里が疑われたことがありましたよね。その時に。
Yeah. Gang's all here, as SpongeBob once said.
すみません。
But I will say, like, a lot of these characters are a lot of these characters are pretty different from when you first meet them, so you get a little taste of that character arc. Oh yeah, I mean, Rika is what can I say about Rika? She's probably one of the most polarizing characters in this series, honestly. Man, Volume 1's a real trip. I look forward to hearing your thoughts on it.
へえ、花火師さんもやるわね。
ほら、八代先輩は心が広い。気に病むことはないんだ。
おだてても何も出ないよ。それでまだ会場には時間がかかりそうかい？
もう済みました。雑貨屋の金庫みたいな単純な作りです。そんなに時間はかかりませんよ。
今度2階屋の階で部屋の鍵をもっと性能のいいものに新調するよう進言しよ
う。手早く済ますぞ。戻ってくるまで10分を目安にする。
わかったわ。
This is great, honestly. Like, we're part of it. It's like they're acting out a spy movie, you know? And yeah,
教科
like
書類とノートか。
a lot of the humor is like these are not people you would expect to be doing this espionage. It's great.
ここが一番手間がかかりそうだ。私も手伝いますよ。コミカド先輩はきちんとした日記帳に書いているイメージだが。
僕が子供の頃交換日記をした時はそうだったが、ノートの中まで見るのかい？
ノートを日記代わりにする知り合いがいますもんね。
I think I know who she's talking about.
日記どこにも見当たらないわ。八代先輩の方はどうです？
机の中は全て調べたが日記らしいものはないね。アミティエの机に日記を隠す理由もないだろうしな。
日記を書いていたというのは子供の頃の話でしょ？もう書いていないってことはないかしら？そんな。
その可能性もあるっちゃあるが。なあ委員長。委員長は恥ずかしいお宝本を隠すときいつもどこに隠しているんだ？
そんなものないわよ。
視線の先はベッド。千鳥、ベッドの下を探ってくれ。
ちょっと。どこにもないわね。
Oh man, that was a good idea too.
アミティエの方のベッドも探してみてくれ。
こちらにも見当たらないわ。 同室のアミティの方の机も調べた方がいいんじゃない？
Also, you gotta love Erica for asking her that in front of everyone. Yeah, maybe you would like Rika. I can't really tell. And honestly, I'm overdue for a replay of the first game. I played it when it first came out, so it's been like 4 years.
どういう理由で自分の日記をアミティアの机に隠すんだよ。口を開く前に頭を使え。
So yeah, you want to talk about pieces of work. Rika is definitely up there with Nerine, I think, for her own reasons.
それじゃあエリカはもっと足を使って探しなさい。
いつも気に障ることを言ってくれてありがとう。
One day, yeah, I mean, it's something else to upload on the channel, I think, since I have already, up to this point, I have already dedicated my channel to this series.
いいアミティエでしょ？
Oh yeah, the best.
羨ましいよ。
ねえエリカさん、エリカさんなら本を隠すとなったらどこへしまう？
名前呼びになっている。来やすいぞ。ま、そうだな。私なら。
私も同じ。木の葉を隠すなら森の中ってことわざもあるし。本棚は私がちゃんと調べたわ。
Not closely
エリカ
enough?
さんが見逃したとは思っていないわ。ただ整頓するだけなら本棚に日記を普通に置くでしょうけど、隠しているなら。
そうか、しまった。ブラウン神父の同心か。ギルバート・ケイス・チェスタトンの推理小説だよ。主人公のブラウン神父が探偵役だ。折れた剣の中で名言「木の葉を隠すなら森の中」の原型が登場する。つまり
Oh, also, if I get to if I do ever get around to replaying the first game and putting it on here, you would get to hear me rant about the mysteries in that game because I said before they're hard. Some of them are like just difficult; they're designed to be that way. Others are legit impossible if you do not have a knowledge of Japanese or just don't look up the answer beforehand because there's like an error in the translation or something. Up until I tried to replay it in 2018, but it seemed like the issue wasn't fixed and the game is just like that. So that kind of sucks, but yeah. Like I do have to give credit to that game for like I think the difficulty of the mysteries reflect Suo's capability in solving them, which is something that carries over to these games as well. But yeah, I mean, it definitely is something that gets on my nerves. Like it got on my nerves at the time. So like, you know, the game they're supposed to be difficult and like I think that's good game design because it's reflective of Suo's character, but sometimes they're just difficult for the wrong reasons, you know? I'll get into more detail about that if we ever come back to it. So, you know, we can see that stuff like as it unfolds, you know? They figured it out. It's a mini mystery within the mystery.
ダイアリーって書いてある。すごいわ。
ネリーもブラウン神父にちなんで日記を聖書の中に隠していたというわけか。怪奇小説だけじゃなく推理小説も好んで読んでいたものな。
よし、一つコミカド先輩の秘密の花園を拝んでみるとしよう。
いけないわ。八代先輩が確認してください。
Personally, I wanted everyone to crowd around, take a look. Given the amount of trouble that Narine's caused for everyone up until now, not saying she would deserve it, but yeah, that's quality metaphor right there, isn't it? You cracked the code, I think.
思っていたよりも簡素だな。
そうなんですか？
どうしたんです？本に呪いの文言でも書かれていたんですか？
何、冗談を言っているのよ。ブックカース。ブックカース、本の呪いよ。中世の頃、書物の盗難を避けるために奥付けに呪いの言葉を記載していたことがあったの。
He's got it pretty rough, huh? How's the stream delay, by the way? It's like, as far as I can tell, it's like 10 seconds? Something like that. It's definitely noticeable, but not that bad. Also, yeah, their relationship is really tentative at this point in time. Like I said, they made up without really talking about, you know, that really bad, awful, and terrible scene in the chapel, chapter 4, so that's still like hanging over, I think, probably both of their heads. Also, Yuzu admitted at the end of the last stream that like she was like, "Oh crap, I still have feelings for her," which is, you know, girls got it pretty rough, you know.
書物は当時とても高価だったから。呪いの言葉、本当にそんなものがあったのね。
Yeah, I think the problem was whenever the stream tried to reconnect and my Wi-Fi like dipped, I think the delay would increase to like sort of try to like compensate, I guess, for the time lost, and so every time I disconnected and reconnected it got worse. So I turned that off. It's actually like a feature, basically. It's a default feature in OBS, so it seems like it's a little better now, and also my Wi-Fi sucks less today.
確かに呪いじみていたな。文字が震えていた。
なんです？
いや、手早く済ませてしまおう。
Says a lot, doesn't it? Personally, I think she should have gone back even further. To when she confessed, because that might have also been pretty telling, but maybe she couldn't stomach it at the time, or at this time.
この日付だ。
なんと書いてありました？
深夜外出した旨はこう書かれていた。夜寝苦しくなり、目を覚まし部屋を出た。雲間に覗く星をしばし眺め、それでも眠気が訪れず目が覚めてしまった私は、姿見で私自身の姿を長い間見つめていた。それでも眠気が訪れず目が覚めてしまった私は、姿見で私自身の姿を長い間見つめていた。
その文言だけではアリバイの証明になりませんね。
そう？リンゴさんを襲ったと書かれていなかったじゃない。
犯行は確かに記されてなかったが、反面深夜外出したことは文言から確かとなった。どちらかというとマイナスだよ。
時間や星を眺めていた時に誰かとすれ違ったり会って話したという記述があればよかったのだけど。
空振りか。
残念だったのはわかるけど、そろそろ部屋を出た方がいいと思うの。戻ってくる頃合いだわ。
まだ平気だろう。おどおどしなくても大丈夫だって。
おどおどだってするわよ。片上寮長の深夜の見回りを思い出すわ。
ああ、確か佐々木姉妹と深夜のお茶会していた時に踏み込まれたことがあったって。
今何と言った？
は？
立花君に聞いているんだ。何をおどおどしているのだって？
Didn't Yuzu ask her earlier if she had anything? Or if she saw anything?
その深夜のお茶会はもうしばらくやっていなくて。
そこじゃない。おどおどの後だよ。
片上寮長の深夜の見回りを思い出す？
さすがはスオ君のアミティエだ。優秀な助手だね、君は。ありがとう、立花君。君のおかげでネリーを救えそうだよ。
I'm not putting it together, personally, but... Actually, maybe that is it. Maybe, like, the dorm mother said she didn't see anything, and that's exactly why. Like, Rika, or Nerine would, like, prove that that's enough evidence to prove that she would be innocent because she didn't see anyone. And she's using an old-fashioned Polaroid. Yeah, the cell phone's loud, huh? Yeah. Seems like it's come to a head right now. This is definitely leading towards you present a version that people will believe that Nerine is innocent, and then you have to confront like the real mystery, basically. You have to at least acknowledge who actually did this or who was behind this. Which just means there's layers to this stuff. Historically, I mean, my success rate for solving these is about 50%, so I got the last one right with the help of the chat. Maybe I'm set up to fail this time, but I mean I've tossed around my theories already. We'll see if anything adds up. See if anything's we'll see if anything adds up. Oh yeah, I mean that's definitely part of the charm of this game. The seasons that they take every opportunity to remind you, like, this is the name of the game, and these are the kinds of metaphors that come along with it, the language that comes along with it. The characters definitely talk a lot in the language of the season, if that makes sense. And by that, I just mean that they talk about the weather a lot, and they talk about things in terms of the weather. Seems pretty mundane, but I think it makes for some good, exposition moments and that kind of thing.
だが、ものを考えるには長情だ。
Yeah, that's a good example.
イズニクで推理を披露する前に考えをまとめておこう。
Alright, looks like I'm tackling this on my own. Great. No stranger to this. It's gotta be this one, right? Because she didn't see it, because the dorm mother didn't see her, and her amity partner did not tell her. Yeah, well, this one seems too easy. Like I'm actually confident about this one. It's gotta be this one. Unless your intuition tells me otherwise, because I don't. These two are just not true, right? So I'm just gonna go with this. I have to go back and see if she mentioned either of these things. This is stuff that was discussed earlier, so okay. We can roll this one out, obviously. This one incriminates her, and would not work, so I don't know, I feel like these two are related, so I can't really tell. There are two videos with the others that I can point to in order to prove she wasn't at the scene. With the first. See, I really don't want to get this wrong. but this, I don't know, maybe I'm overthinking this, but there are like two pieces of evidence they found with Suo. She found with Suo and the others, right? She found this with Nerine, and this was something that they investigated together, and something that Nerine probably used in her testimony. But like this, I don't know. It is like this. That's like a point of interest of like across this entire chapter, But like Nerine herself pointed it out. Yeah, that's the thing. Like Nerine herself pointed out, like there not being footprints was weird. So like that's not something that's been discussed up until now. need to go back. It's one of those two. See, that's why, like, this is what, yeah, this is what, this is what kind of sets it off for her, right? So... like, the Dome Mother didn't see anything, right? So I feel like you can somehow connect those two somehow as far as an explanation. Because, like, yeah, what's throwing me off is that these two are kind of saying the same thing. Like, because the path was muddy, like, because it rained, the path was muddy and, like, kind of washed out all the footprints, right? So that's why I'm confused. I mean, at the very least, if I get this wrong, I can go back and take the other one with some fair amount of confidence, you know? Yeah, but that's the thing is, the thing about that is, like, that would probably bring up another question of, oh, since there aren't any footprints, like, if Nerine didn't do it, then who did? You know, that would still not incriminate anyone else or, like, really establish, like fault on anyone's part. And the point here is to, like, take the heat off Nerine and kind of shift it somewhere else. I don't see how the other explanation would help with that, but yeah, that's what I think. That makes sense, you know? I think that, like, both of those answers make sense, but I feel like this first one raises more questions than it does answers, you know? I feel like trying to present this as an explanation would cause more harm than good, you know? So I'm kind of leaning towards this one. How's that sound? I think I just talked myself into, with your help of course, I think I just talked myself into choosing the path being muddy. Alright, let's do it. And if we get this wrong, did I save? I saved, right? Okay, I did. Yep, let's do it. Yeah, I mean, moment of truth. Yeah, we skipped we skipped the explanation scene, so that was not a good sign. Crap.
OZ の国で喧嘩は許さないわよ。ここではみんなが平和に暮らしていて、お互いを思い合っているの。
Well, shoot. Yeah, serious. there's another L added onto my track record right there. Every time I think I'm getting better at these. It's fine, we'll just, you know. Thankfully in a game like this you can just boot it right back up. And that'll help me 100% this game later on. Right, we're pretty confident about this one. If we get this wrong again, I'm going to have to go back and look it up because I don't see the reasoning for any of the other options. Let's see how we do. There we go. That's it. I was overthinking it. I was so close. I was so close. It's fine. We're gonna get another shot at this, I'm sure, because we need to get to the real heart of this mystery. So and you know, Yuzu's gonna give her explanation, and we are all going to look stupid because hindsight's 2020, and you know. Yeah, I know. I'm sure I'm gonna get some comments from my usual viewers being like, "Shoulda waited, you know. Shoulda waited so we could have worked it out together." But this is just I am very spotty when it comes to these things.
今日集まってもらったのは他でもない。鐘楼のルーガルー事件でのことだ。
そのことはコミカドさんが。
コミカドネリネは犯人ではない。
犯人ではないって。
言葉通りの意味ですよ、バスキア教諭。コミカドネリネは佐々木リンゴを襲ってなんかいないってことです。
ですがコミカド副会長が自分がしたことだとおっしゃっていました。
そいつは自己犠牲だよ。実にキリスト教的精神だ。だが度が過ぎると笑えなくなる。
私がしたことだわ。
そいつは違うな。そもそもネリーは聖堂になんて言ってなかった。
どういうことです？
以前ここで申し開きをした通り、聖堂には足跡すらなかった。襲われたリンゴや突き飛ばしたというネリーの足跡すらね。
確かにそれはおかしいですね。
Yeah, I think Nerine cranks it up a lot, that situation. And of course, as we all know, sitting here, it's caused more trouble than it was worth, so... Narine's got a lot of, what's the word? Reflecting to do, I think. Dahlia Sensei was right when she said that. Just not in the way that she meant.
それは突き飛ばした後、佐々木さんが立ち去るのを待って靴跡を消したのです。私の足跡から特定されてしまう気がして。
どうやって？
昨日 の枝を使ったのです。その後はすぐに寄宿舎へと戻りました。納得してもらえたかしら。
I wonder if this will come in handy later, actually, when we tackle the real mystery.
ああ、なるほど。確かにその通りにやれば足跡の謎は解ける。おそらく足跡がなかったのはネリーの説明した通りだろう。
だったら
だが君が話した真実は足跡を消した方法だけだ。ネリーはあるものをかばっている。足跡を消した理由。
待ってゆずり
は足跡を消した理由、それは己の足跡を消そうとしたんじゃない。野生動物の足跡を消そうとしていたんだ。
What I don't like about this is how you have to remember details from way back towards the beginning, because we are like 4 hours into this now, and like the actual incident that's for this on happened like way back then. So if I hadn't gone back and replayed it, I probably would have been even more at a loss, you know?
動物ですか？
ええ、以前にも餌付けした動物のことは話したでしょ。動物の足跡を消すついでに残った己の足跡を消したのです。犯人の動機は話しておかないとね。いえ、そういえばバスキア教諭のご趣味はガーデニングだそうですね。
それが何か？
いいご趣味だ。僕の趣味はカメラでしてね。主に風景を撮っています。まあ下手の横好きというやつですがね。いい絵が撮れたんです。見てもらってもいいですか？
それは構いませんが。ゆずりはもう。
悪いが自室に踏み込ませてもらったよ。ネリー、君の部屋にだ。
部屋へ？だって訪ねてこなかったじゃない。
僕に鍵開けの技術があることを知らなかっただろ。
そんな嘘を。
これは君の日記帳だろ。
Man, she is exposing her. Pretty funny, honestly.
会長、それは。八代会長、友人とはいえ家人の許しを得ず無断で入るのは正しくない行いですよ。
I know, right? I was wondering if she was going to reveal that information or not.
僕もそう思います。だがこうするしかなかった。
不道徳な行いをすることが。
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, baby.
親友の無実を証明する方法はこれしかない。日記帳を探った理由はお分かりでしょう。 鐘楼のルーガルー事件の日、日記帳にはこう書かれていました。最後の結びでこうあります。夜寝苦しくなり、目を覚まし部屋を出た。雲間に覗く星をしばし眺め、それでも眠気が訪れず目が覚めてしまった私は、姿見で私自身の姿を長い間見つめていたとね。
Quality writing there, Nerine. Job. She should go into English when she goes to college.
それで終わりです。ええ、間違いないわ。でも
なんだい？
この日記が何だっていうの？確かに聖堂でのことは書いていないけれど、それは突き飛ばしていない証拠にはならないわ。
今確かに日記帳の通りの行動をしていたとの発言を聞きましたね。はい。ネリーは今リンゴが襲われた11時半、聖堂にいなかったことを証明した。
何を言っているの？
この日記帳には夜半に部屋を出たことが書かれている。そうだね。
だから星空を見て、みんなが本当に寝静まったかを確認してから向かったのよ。
姿見を眺めていたのは？
それは外に出る前に身だしなみを確認していたの。
Yeah, the lies keep coming. She's really pretty natural for her, honestly.
この姿見だが、ネリーはどこで己を見つめていたのだろう。姿見というが、寄宿舎で全身を映すほどの大きさの鏡はどこに置いてあるのか、君知っているかな？
私は存じ上げません。壁掛け鏡ならお部屋やご婦上にもありますけど。
上半身を映す程度の鏡じゃ姿見とは言わない。
それは
確かにある。ロビーだよ。
ロビーですか？八代会長、ロビーに鏡なんて置いてありません。
いいえ、あるんですよ。即席の鏡がね。
Probably the front door entrance, I'm assuming.
窓をご覧ください。
Honestly, I thought that line was suspicious too, but because like, oh, she has a full-length mirror in her room and she like wrote it down, you know, like, and that proves she was in her room at the time, I guess. So I was on the wrong track there. It's pretty funny. It's like, you know, this is never stuff that's explicitly explained or explicitly laid out.
確かに姿は映っていますけど、これじゃ
鏡とまでは言えない。だが
It's actually something that we've seen before. Funny enough.
ロビーには水槽がある。縦長の水槽だ。 電気を落としたらこうして大きな姿見に変わる。ネリ、君の言った姿見とはこれだね。
Yeah, I mean, sometimes they are, I think, but yeah, it's like intentionally left out when they're solving mysteries. Yeah, you still don't know the whole story. I mean, Yuzu is even like throughout this entire game, there's a tidbit of information that's really important to one of these characters, but Yuzu withholds that information from her and like by extension us. So it's kind of like we're in her head. This is the best opportunity to learn that, but still we don't know because she only ever refers to it. You know, it's pretty man, just let me come out with the fourth game. Let me play the fourth game already so I can get to the bottom of it, you know?
確かにそうだけれど。
Also, I'm kind of short on time here, honestly. Like I was hoping I could wrap up like before 2 Pacific time. We are closing in on that pretty fast. We have another mystery to solve. It's gonna be kind of a time crunch, but I'll probably have to step out for like 20 minutes at the most. So most likely I'm probably just going to take a 20-minute break and come back around that time so we can wrap up. That kind of thing. Because like I think like as far as character like perspective goes and like telling these stories through the telling these games through the lenses of the characters, you do get a pretty good feel of how they think. I think their narration does a good job of that, but it's true, like there's a lot of important information that's left out, you know. And I do like that. It's like, you know, in a way it's the game like not feeling the need to hold your hand and tell you everything, I think, and it lets you know, and it does give you the impression that like, oh, you know, even though, yeah, you know, you still have to figure some stuff out yourself. Like what your character says, everything they say, you can't really take it at face value. It's really interesting.
バスキア教諭、魚も眠ることはご存知ですか？
ええ、以前片上寮長から耳にしたことがあります。
なら話は早い。熱帯魚にも睡眠は必要だ。この睡眠だが、太陽が落ちたら電灯を消すというものでなく、決まった時間に消すことが必要なんだ。生活サイクルをきっちり合わせることがね。だから就寝の時間は魚の都合でなく人間の都合に合わせることができる。例えば寄宿舎の見回りのついでに消灯させるとかね。熱帯魚の世話は片上寮長の領分だ。そして二階屋の会の面々は知っての通り、見回りは11時半から行われる。
それじゃ。
そうです。片上寮長の部屋の位置からロビーはすぐだ。ほぼ11時半に水槽のライトは切られる。ネリー、11時半にリンゴは襲われた。だから君が水槽を姿見として使うのは不可能なんだよ。
そう、聖堂に行って戻ってきてからロビーの水槽を見たの。だから
同室のアミティエ、萩原君からも話を聞いている。12時になる少し前に君が部屋に戻ってきたとね。
Yeah, I guess that's the detail that set her off, you know? Yeah. There's a lot that... The thing about these mysteries is that you do get enough information to solve them, like to get like a decent idea of the overall picture, but a lot of times there are details contained within the explanation that you just don't have any way of knowing, you know? Like that detail about the fish tank has actually been something that we've seen multiple times, but like the timing of it, like precisely at 11:30, is not really, it's just implied. And also like the dorm mother's specific timing of her patrols is also something that's like not just like her nighttime patrols, you know? So it's true that like that's what's so, I think that's what makes these mysteries so like fun to think about, is that even as you're like working to solve them, you know that like there's information that you just kind of have to assume the characters will fill in for you later. I do kind of like that. It's not like you're supposed to be a genius, you know, right off the bat, but it is kind of frustrating, like to think about like what details like will matter kind of retroactively and which ones won't. Like,
聖堂で彼女を襲い、負傷したリンゴが足を引きずり姿が見えなくなるまで身を潜め、足跡を消してから寄宿舎の自分の部屋に戻る。不可能。コミカド・ネリネはあるものをかばっているのです。
ユズリ
そう、片喰玉木寮長をね。先ほど足跡を消そうとしたことの有無を話した。野生動物の足跡を消そうとしていたと。
シロさん。
wow, okay. Yeah, we didn't know that either, obviously. We know that, like, oh, she went to talk to her, but apparently that's what they discussed, so... Cool, alright.
そんな。それでは片喰寮長が佐々木さんを襲ったということですか？
Yeah, no, I don't think that's what she's saying.
それは違う。襲ったのはタヌキだよ。
え？
リンゴは片喰寮長が聖堂近くで餌を与えていることを知っていた。そして折悪く待ち合わせていた時にタヌキに飛びつかれ驚き足を痛めてしまった。
突き飛ばされたのではない。
もともとリンゴは突き飛ばされた云々は言っていない。ケムクジャラの獣を見て慌てた際に負傷したと言っていただろう。
それじゃあタヌキをルーガルーだと勘違いして。
養護教諭に怪我をした理由を尋ねられ、片喰寮長が餌付けをしていたことを知っていたため、タヌキだと言えずとっさに怪異の名を挙げたのだと思う。
彼女も自己犠牲から。なんです？
彼女自身襲われたことを己を守ることに使おうと考えたのだと思う。
Well, that's what I've been saying this whole time.
化け物に襲われたとなれば、自分の置かれた立場が回復すると考えたのではないかな。
そんな。
事実、怪我をしたと聞き距離を置く生徒は耐え、旧友は心配からお見舞いに来るようになったそうだよ。
So if that's not actually what happened, and that's the explanation that Yuzu was just giving to kind of clear everything up. I mean, I was validated in a way that like it is a plausible explanation, but it seems like there's something even even messier going on here. And honestly, it's an idea that I've been tossing around since like this morning, basically, since I had a day to think about this. But oh god, I don't. Oh, hey there. You missed me getting this one wrong. It was so embarrassing. Lilith and I talked about it, and we came to like a plausible conclusion, and we ended up getting a bad ending. So I had to go back and, I mean, I got it right the second time around, but it's not the same as the first time. Yeah, I'd like I said, I'll probably dip out in like 25 minutes or so to take a call, and then I'll be back in another 20 minutes to finish up this chapter, because we're probably going to get to the real mystery after this. But what I was saying, like, I had a new idea this morning after kind of going over all the details. You know how I said earlier that I said at the beginning, like, oh, trying to pick a possible culprit out of like the characters that we know, or like just assigning it to some like randomly super jealous person is kind of too like, it's kind of too like out of the picture. Yeah, while solving this mystery, like during the explanation to the student council, I picked the wrong answer and I got a bad end. I got it right the second time, but doesn't change the fact I got it wrong. But I was saying, like, there were no likely culprits because I don't think anyone would do that. Like, it just doesn't make any, it's not in character for anyone. But I think there's actually one exception. Thinking about it more, I'm gonna go into it more if it's like it ends up being like a possible route of explanation. But it's really messy, and it like just to kind of like explain it, it would explain why Yuzu, Nerine, Suo, and everyone else who knows the real culprit or who actually did it, they're trying to protect them, you know? We'll just keep going now. Yeah, you missed me making a fool out of myself. If you want to go back and watch the stream, well, you'll get a good time too, when I go AFK for a little bit. But yeah, you can see our reasoning for like about 40 minutes back or so.
ネリーは私に事件の進捗を聞いていた。そして真実を悟り、自分が泥をかぶることを選択した。これが鐘楼のルーガルー事件の真相だ。
話は承りました。八代会長のお話に間違いはないのですね。
Yeah, I imagine it'll be pretty entertaining. Like I said, that's why I don't really mind that much when I make myself look stupid, because it's good entertainment.
沈黙をもって是とします。し しかし、そうですか。玉木寮長が。佐々木さんも片上寮長も小見門副会長もそれぞれ善意から相手をかばい嘘をつくことになってしまったのですね。
バスキア教諭、ネリーへの謹慎は解いてくれますか？
譲りは
ええ、当然です。彼女は何の罪も犯してはいないのですから。
鐘楼のルーガルーの件はどうするおつもりですか？
この件に関わっていた者はそれぞれに互いをかばい合うことで嘘をついていました。私には裁くことはできません。
それについては僕の方からやめていただくよう話をつけておきました。
そうですか。では今度の一件は佐々木凛吾さんが聖堂にて野生動物に驚き、それをルーガルーだと見誤った。
Yeah,
いいですね。
they all did, and they're still covering for someone. So, I mean, when we find out what actually happened, I have a feeling that I have a feeling that like the I have a feeling that the truth is like much worse. You know? And once we get to the bottom of this, yeah. Like I think just I'm predicting that like lying, like everyone involved here, especially like Yuzu and Nerine and Suo who know the truth, like they all know the truth and they still choose to cover it up. So like, is the truth really that bad? I think it is.
譲りは私
黙っていろ。子供の頃のようだ。守るというのも僕のエゴなのかもしれないな。
Something about Nerine just makes her.
どうやらうまくいったみたいですね。
Yeah, every single one of the main characters so far, like, just like loves to go and like wax poetic at whatever opportunity they can. It's really great, honestly. And very high school, I think, like very like high school themed, as in like wanting to like capture like every moment. Even like the most seemingly insignificant of ones, or the kind of most mundane descriptions. Yeah. Pretty good.
先輩の勝利だ。
僕は勝利を得たいんじゃない。負けたくないんだ。微妙な差だが、そこが違う。
眼蓄のある言葉だ。さすがは二階屋の会長。な、白羽ね。
鐘楼のルーガルーの正体を隠したままで矛を収めることができたのですね。
なかなかに危うい橋だったが渡り終えた。 ネリーの謹慎も解かれることになったよ。
Yeah, you could say that again for us too. Jesus.
よかった。
これで千鳥や委員長にいい報告ができるってもんだ。自分たちも結果を聞きに来たいってうるさかったんですよ。
連れてきても僕は構わなかったんだけどね。
ことを済ました後に大勢で押しかけたら怪しまれるかもと思いましてね。私たちは代表ですよ。
Yeah, for sure. Thanks for coming along and sticking around in the stream. You're the real MVP. Would highly recommend. I'm probably going to keep going until this chapter's done, but I imagine that the fun is just getting started. So, highly recommend going back and watching the rest of this. Alright, well, thanks for coming again. I'll catch you later.
リラックス中の八代先輩には悪いんですが、一つ聞きたいことがある。
何かな？
白羽は気づいているようで尺だが、ルーガルーの犯人は一体誰だったのですか？
See, things are already ramping back up. Yeah. See ya.
騙しのプロを騙そうとするな。別に聞いたところで言って回ったりはしないさ。ただ白羽が知っていて私が知らないのがムカつくだけだ。
八代先輩。
いいんだ。八重垣くんは値千金の活躍をしてもらったしね。
Time to put our own theories to the test. Also, I have about 15 minutes. 15 minutes to solve this, so hopefully we can get through it. And hopefully we can reason this out, because this has honestly been bugging me for like, a long time. Like, something was off from the moment that Yuzu walked into the dorm. You know? Yeah, David's not here to help me this time, so I'm on my own. Okay, so there are plausible explanations for each of these. I think we can rule this one out because there is an animal still being fed. They went to the forest and there's still food scraps being left there, and the dorm mother. Well, Yuzu didn't confirm that the animal is being fed still, right? She just went to the dorm mother and was like, hey, it's just, I want to help Nerine out. Will this explanation work? So it's not confirmed yet that there's still an animal being fed, but I think that's like there's enough clues here that we can rule this one out. This first one fits in line with the theory that either Ringo's incident was like staged elsewhere, or or what I mean is like the incident was staged elsewhere and that there was no need for her to go out in the first place, right? But if she did injure them elsewhere, that would not explain why her shoes are still muddy. But yeah, but honestly, the most, like, I think the biggest question here, and kind of like what really made me start thinking about this, is something that David said when he was like, why would they both be muddy? You know, if she was injured, like, wouldn't maybe the top of one be muddy, or the other one, you know? Like, wouldn't the other one just like, they would have different mud patterns? And that's one possible explanation. The other possible explanation is, if Ringo's foot was really injured, would she just take off her shoe? You know, it would probably be harder to walk, or like harder to support herself as she walked back, whatever. So why are both of her shoes muddy? On the other hand, I did go back and read through this, like the incident when they first explained it. So like it was established that Ringo went out after it rained. So I mean, that could explain it, but this is too, but even so, I feel like this is too fishy. Like, you said they were both caked in mud, you know, like the tops of them were both caked in mud. It's such a small detail, but David pointing it out has made me like, I have not been able to stop thinking about that. So I think, like, yeah, the most likely explanation, if Ringo's story was true, wouldn't she have taken off her shoe, like, when she was walking back? And also her foot would probably be muddy, but, you know, when Yuzu went to see her, it was clean. So that's also another weird inconsistency. Like, I still think this explanation would fit with what we're trying to do, as in, like, oh, the incident happened elsewhere and there was no need for, you know, she wasn't at the chapel like she said, but this is more suspicious. I'm gonna go with that. After I save, of course. If this is wrong, I'm going to be kind of mad. Because you know what I was saying earlier? I was saying earlier that Ichigo has, like David pointed out that it was weird that Ichigo knew when their dates were supposed to be secret. So I was like, yeah, that is weird. But I went back and I looked, and Ichigo was in the lobby. She said, like, oh, I was in the lobby for some reason. I was like, well, why were you in the lobby at like midnight? You know, that's really weird. And she didn't offer like an explanation for that. Also, another detail that was odd to me was Nerine, when Yuzu and Nerine were discussing this, they pointed out that the rumor spread like strangely fast, you know, even for like a mystery. And especially what was weird about it is it spread quickly because when there was no like real basis for it, or the story was kind of shaky. So, and like that leads me to believe like, okay, who's the best gossip in school? Like, who's the person to go to when you want to hear a rumor? You know, it's Ichigo. She's totally like, you know, like she is, who else? She's like the source of that stuff. And of course, we're probably knowing that she could totally like manipulate that information and spread whatever she wants, even if it's not true. So like them pointing out that the rumor spread oddly fast, I think put Ichigo under even more suspicion. I thought that at the time, but I didn't really say anything, you know? And like, I hate to suspect Ichigo like this, but she is kind of suspicious. You know, because her alibi is shaky, and doubly so because, well, she was probably the person who was affected the most, other than Yuzu and Ringo themselves, by their relationship. Like, her relationship with Ringo was strained, and like, I'm not saying she did it, but she is acting really suspiciously, you know? So I think it's her. Yuzu also pointed out, like, oh, their relationship is back to normal now, it seems. And I was like, is it really? Do you not have anything to go off of other than that? Anyway, these other two is... I don't... There's really no reason to suspect these two. Like, in my... Like... As far as... Like, what we've... Like, the progression of this story so far, I feel like that would kind of just come out of nowhere. I've already given my case for Ichigo, so...
一度ネリーへと事件のあらましを話しながら整理していった時、妙に引っかかる箇所があった。聖堂前の足跡だよ。
それって犯人が消したって話でしたよね。
ああ、初めはリンゴを襲った後、自分の足跡という証拠を残したくないために消したのだと思った。だが
足跡を消す必要はないということですね。
Of course, Suo already figured it out.
ん？ああ、そういうこと。
Oop.
そうだ。
Sorry, Erica.
学院生徒はみんな学院指定の靴を履いている。
Really? That's...
よほど足のサイズが大きいだとか歩き方が特徴的でないのなら消す必要なんてないんだよ。
They have similar enough shoe sizes for that to be a thing, I guess.
なるほど。いや、でもタヌキの足跡はそれがバレたくなくて。
There wasn't a raccoon there in the first place, right? That was never like the reason that Ringo fell over.
片喰寮長は随分と割を食った形になりますね。
ウェンディゴ事件の折に自分が噂の元になっていたことを黙っていたのが随分と心苦しかったらしい。だから餌付けをしていたことにしてくださいとの頼みも喜んで引き受けてくれたよ。
悪党ですね。となるとタヌキはいなかった。佐々木妹が驚き怪我したっていうのは。
Did I get this one right? Or is there even more?
そう、真っ赤な嘘だよ。足跡を消す必要がないと分かった後、いくつかの齟齬を拾うことができた。リンゴはそもそも聖堂には行っていなかったんだ。
聞かせていただいた靴箱にあったリンゴさんの靴からの着想ですね。
David, I know you're not here, but if you're watching this, if you're watching the playback, thank you, because that was like I would not have focused in on that detail if you didn't point it out. Maybe if he was here for the actual stream, he would have helped me solve the first part too without me messing up. But
ご名答。事件当夜、僕はリンゴの靴を見た。左右どちらもべったりと泥がついていたよ。だが、おかしくはないか
I know, God, he's the real MVP. That was nuts. That's a good eye, honestly. And I mean, I also had the advantage of sitting on it for a day, thinking about why that was weird. I honestly only okay. Let's see what the explanation is. But there are a number of possible explanations. Sorry. See, that's what I was saying. Like if you were here, I actually have stuff to do in like 5 minutes, so I gotta bow out. But I'll be back like in less than half an hour to finish this up because we're almost at the end of the chapter here. But I was saying, like, your pointing out that detail of Ringo's shoes being muddy helped me solve this mystery. So, but unfortunately, there were 2 parts to the mystery, and the first part, like the part that you had to present to the student council, yeah. Yeah, like, I got that wrong, so I got a bad ending. It's on the stream, so you'll just have to check out the archive. So, I got the first part of the mystery wrong, and it seems like I got this part right. Like, with your help. So... It's pretty... I mean, we'll see, but they're getting to the explanation right now. But it seems like I got it right. First try. Yeah. Thank you so much for pointing that out.
足を引きずって帰った。泥がつく部分は必然的に偏る。
Okay, so the explanation was a little bit simpler than what I was thinking. I was thinking like, yeah, the mud would be evenly distributed. I was close. Like, I was, not to give myself enough credit because I ended up getting it wrong, but I was it ended up coming down to a 50-50 and I just picked wrong. So, yeah, I'm not like obviously not some genius detective. But yeah, it seemed like the explanation here was pretty simple, and it was what David pointed out, like the whatchamacallit. Like, her shoe would have been muddy in one area. Oh, are you gonna dip out? Yeah, we're almost done with this chapter, so, yeah, I'll probably stream tomorrow, do chapter 6. But yeah. I'll try to start at normal time again, like 2:30-ish Pacific time. Thanks again.
なのに左右どちらの靴底にも均一に泥がべったりとついていた。
アリバイ工作が裏目に出たってわけか。
Peace out.
「おそらく事件の流れはこうだ。リンゴが足をくじいた。これは本当だ。養護教諭が診察をして診断を下している。
Yeah, I mean, it's all good. Life happens, you know. Oh shoot. Sorry, I'm expecting a call. It was just a spam call. But yeah, life happens. I'm looking forward to hearing what you think and when you watch the archive, though.
騒ぎになっていないところを見ると自室で。
そこで佐々木姉が一計を案じたってわけだ。
ああ。距離を取られている妹を案じて怪我を逆手に取り周囲の同情を買うため自作自演をすることにしたのさ。
待ち合わせよりも早く聖堂に行ったことにして、そこでルーガルーに襲われたことにした。
足跡がなかったのは当たり前だ。そもそも行ってすらないんだからな。
待ち合わせの時間に来ないことに僕が心配して部屋に来ることも織り込み済みだったのだろう。そこで
I was spot on about that part. So they did scheme it and they took advantage of the fact that Yuzu would, you know.
あとは八代先輩が話してくれた流れってわけですか。
Alright, well, you came...
妹のために事件の絵図を描いた。
I got it right? I got this mystery right first try. But yeah, it's all good. I'll probably stream tomorrow, probably around this time, 2 p.m. Pacific. So yeah, thanks for coming again. We'll catch you later.
鐘楼のルーガルーを作り出したのは 佐々木いちごくんだよ。
佐々木さんたちを糾弾するのですか？
君はどうしたい？試すような真似をした。すまない。
See ya.
いえ、
この件は僕たちだけの秘密にしようと思う。どうだろうか。
Alright, I gotta bow out for a little bit. I'm expecting a call, so I'm just gonna put up an AFK thing on screen for a little bit. Okay, that was a lot. Took a little bit longer than I expected, but we're back now. Just to finish up this chapter, I kind of maybe I'll cut it out in editor later, because YouTube editor is not super in depth or anything, but I can kind of probably clip out that part. Anyway, yeah, I mean, it's just revealed that like the twins did orchestrate themselves and kind of played off of Yuzu's sympathy that they knew that she would kind of like inherently give them. But again, like Yuzu just asked Suo, would you expose them or would you call them out? And Yuzu did all that work to kind of cover it up. So did everyone else. Everyone else seems to be under the impression that it's better this way to like have the relationships go back to normal and not have them be shunned, because if the truth got out, and everyone would be shunned. So
よろしいのですか？
3人も知っている秘密は秘密じゃないと思いますが、私も賛成です。真犯人を見つけたところで誰も得をしない。
yeah, Erica hit it on the head there.
立花君と高崎君にはイズニクでネリーの謹慎を解いた時の話を真実として語ってくれ。冷めてしまったな。
I wonder if she's going to talk to the Sasakis about it.
どうすればいいのかわからない。教えてください、カウさん。
Wow, we're that close to chapter. Or not. Nerine did figure it out. I mean, if there was any doubt. God. Well, now I feel validated as far as Nerine's reasoning. Yuzuo was on the mark too, though I think she didn't know that Nerine felt this bad, so. It was her punishment. Let it be known that I predicted that. I just want to be right about something in this game. I feel a little bit better about getting the second half of the mystery right, but
譲り葉が救ってくれた。早く良くなってね。今度は私がネリナちゃんを守るから。ネリーを害するのは僕が許さない。転校したての譲り葉はあの時の私のように。救いはない。オズの魔法使いという童話がある。魔法使いのオズに頼まれ、横島な西の魔女を退治するために旅立つドロシーたち。艱難辛苦を乗り越え、西の魔女を退治し、オズに願いを叶えてもらおうとするも、彼がペテン師だと気づく。木こりへハートも、ライオンへ勇気も、カカシへ脳みそも与えてあげることはできなかった。当然ドロシーを故郷へ返すことも。気落ちするドロシーたちへオズは優しい嘘で彼らへ望むものを与える。カカシは脳でなく小麦の襖を詰め、木こりは絹でできたハートを、ライオンへは勇気の入った水を与えた。皆ドロシーたちとの冒険で物を考える頭を、いたわりの心を、立ち向かう勇気をすでに得ていたのだ。ただ彼のペテンではドロシーをカンザスへ返すことはできなかった。仲間たちはドロシーを返すために奔走する。そして南の魔女のグリンダならば可能性があると知った。
喧嘩好きの木々に襲われ、繊細な時期たちの国を渡り、大雲が支配する森を抜け、ようやく南の魔女の住むお城へとたどり着いた。南の魔女から銀の靴を使い家に帰れると知り、木こりとかかしとライオンとの感動の別れの後、ドロシーは愛犬と共にカンザスへと戻る。私は物語の結末を見つめ、羨ましいと思った。帰りたいと願う故郷を持つ彼女を。幾度も引っ越しを繰り返した私には、ヨルベが戻るべき故郷がなかったからだ。いや、故郷は地でなくともよい。人であってもよい。だが、私はこれから始まる物語は、帰るべき故郷を探し求める少女のお話。クラブ関連の書類はこの棚に入っている。各式典類はこちらの引き出しだ。
Well, first of all, I was like 5 minutes away from finishing that chapter and I had to step out. That is just impeccable timing. I had to step out for like 30 minutes. I'm gonna go and definitely gonna go and probably clip that out or crop that out. But Nerine, why is she the way that she is? Like, it seems like okay, so it seems like what was kind of like hinted at like the other time that we were in her head was that so she like manipulated Yuzu like into basically like alienating her from everyone else and being her only friend, but after like going to some real extremes about it, she kind of gained conscience, in part because like she basically was bedridden for an undetermined amount of time and had a lot of time to think and sit by herself and think about what she did. So she was just a kid at the time. Like, I guess that was still enough for her to gain a conscience, but it seems like she is like so weighed down by like her past actions that she's like, oh, you know, like this person that Yuzu, you know, she loves, she doesn't exist. Like, it's this based off this fake image of me. But I feel like Nerine in a way is kind of like so stuck in this, you know, past idea of herself that she's like actually preventing like herself from, you know, moving forward. And like she basically is only still terrible because she convinces herself that she is, you know. In other words, I'm saying like, okay, well, she is, you know, there's room for growth there, I think. We are 6 chapters in, on the other hand, and she's still basically committing the same mistakes that she has like her whole life, whereas she's only changing when it's too late, and she kind of acts like she does this like she acts like out of, you know, penance for herself basically, and she thinks like it's her punishment, and like in order to like, you know, feel some real repercussions for her actions or whatever. But in doing so, she just makes things worse for everyone, causes a bunch of trouble. I mean, look at all those hoops that we had to jump through there to kind of like create this like predicated or create this like convenient explanation that sat well with everyone without exposing the real culprit. And also, not to mention what Nerine herself brought up, that the Sasakis wouldn't have been driven to do that if Nerine had actually come out and said like, oh, you know, stop being terrible to that, you know, like. your like spurning of her is based off this idea that, you know, we were gonna end up together. But yeah, I mean, I guess now we know that, yeah, I mean, Nerine rejected Yuzu partly out of, you know, good Christian girl, given how she, like, Christianity for her, like, when we've been in her head so far, has not been like a huge part of like how she thinks, I think. So I think that's only part of it. That's only part of why she rejected Yuzu, despite her actions obviously being like, oh, you know, God save me, like, I'm not gay, that kind of thing. But really, in larger part, like, her actions were due out of this self-hatred, you know? It's like, okay, I'm not this person that you think I am. I'm actually a terrible person. Why do you love me? Like, that's not, it's like, I'm not, it wouldn't work because of that. Like, I'm not who you think I am, that kind of thing. Which leads me to my last point. Yuzu has gone on a lot about saying, like, oh, you know, she's really able to, like, really see people's intentions and, like, basically how the gears turn in their head. She always makes this metaphor, like, oh, I'm looking through the windows of their eyes, basically, to parse their words and figure out their true intentions. I mean, we really don't have any reason to doubt that. So far, her observations have been pretty on point. I think she has a pretty good understanding of most of the characters in this game, with one exception. And that exception is, of course, Nerine herself. If Nerine is actually like this heartless, manipulative person that she so claims to be, and she definitely was in the past, like you can't look at what she did and be like, yeah, okay, she was just working things out. No, she was like actually manipulative. And but my point is, like, if Yuzu is like that, is that able to, like, figure people out, and is that, like, has that level of emotional intelligence, then why is she so oblivious to the fact that Nerine is, you know, like that? There's an obvious discrepancy there, right? You know, Yuzu claims to know Nerine, even not only, like, directly because they're best friends, but indirectly because she claims to understand people's intentions, right? So despite that, her vision of Nerine is so different than the one that we get when we actually go into Nerine's head. So there's probably a couple things going on there. Either Yuzu knows all that and just doesn't say, or she is so blinded by her feelings for Nerine that she thinks she's perfect. I think, well, okay, so the second one kind of makes sense with everything she's said so far, like about Nerine, whenever they're together or whatever. I think, like, yeah, like, oh yeah, her feelings for Nerine are very, like, infatuation or whatever you want to call it. But the first one is really interesting, the idea that she knows that Nerine is like that and has these awful tendencies and hates herself for it, and she doesn't say it. I think that's much more interesting because Lilith said just in chat earlier that, like, this game doesn't always go into the heads of the characters, like, they're telling the story through. Like, even though we're in Yuzu's head, we don't get everything that she thinks, you know? We're not in her head all the time. We don't reach all of the conclusions that she does. And obviously that's for, you know, mystery purposes, but I've been thinking about that, and, like, yeah, maybe that does carry over to other things, you know? Maybe that carries over to Nerine herself. And I mean, we have an example of that already, with the, like, the secret that she holds as Student Council President. Like, oh, she knows this thing about the Goddess of Truth or whatever. And that's information that she's withheld from us as well. Like, she's only alluded to it. So it's possible, but I feel like we're probably going to come through a confrontation about that sooner or later because, you know, like, Yuzu is now in a really weird, like, after that whole mystery, now that it's blown over, now that it's been resolved, she's at a weird spot in her relationships, plural, because, you know, she's like, okay, Ringo lied to me to gain my sympathy, I don't know how she feels about that, and she was already going into that thinking, oh, I lost my train of thought. She was already going to think like, oh yeah, I definitely rebounded through and go like, I still have feelings for Nerine. So that's a weird spot. She's in a weird like crossroads right now. She probably has to like make a decision or whatever. Or this game could just kind of come in with the right hook and, you know, break all that into pieces. So yeah, we're at a really interesting like there's a lot that like between, and Yuzu and Nerine's relationship is obviously very messy. So I hope it's at least like addressed. I hope they have like a good long talk about it, or maybe more than one, because like their relationship is so messy and has so much baggage. Like I would feel disappointed if we didn't get that, you know? Regardless of who she ends up with, if anyone at all, right? Something has to change. Like Yuzu predicting that like it was just a temporary happiness is definitely on the nose, and we are approaching that. Speaking of approaching, I am approaching the 3-hour mark, so I'm gonna end the stream here, having just finished up chapter 5, and those are all my thoughts on that. Honestly, those mysteries were pretty, yeah. I mean, I do have to apologize for suspecting Ichigo for, like, I implied that I suspected Ichigo for, like, actually assailing her or whatever, like, out of jealousy of her own twin sister. But no, they did scheme that. They were both part of the explanation, so their intention was much less malicious, and Ichigo did not act out of jealousy or anything like that. So sorry, Ichigo, you are still responsible for this whole mess in a way. I mean, Nerine is too, but you know, you blew this way out of proportion, basically. Probably, you know, I guess it worked out in the end. Anyway, I hope we get some, you know, more fun, juicy confrontation moments in this upcoming chapter, which I'm very much looking forward to. Try to stream on Friday tomorrow because, you know, long weekend, probably won't be able to get around to it, that kind of thing. Alright, so with that, I'm going to call it for today. Thanks for everyone for dropping by, and I'll probably see you all tomorrow, hopefully. Peace out.